Hello, good evening and welcome to News at 10. I'm Stephen Enti. Let's start with the summaries of today's major news stories. A private legal practitioner, Kotoampao, is warning recruiting people without integrity to the office of the special prosecutor could prematurely collapse it. He said the public misconception about the special prosecutor's office and work is largely due to the failure of government to communicate the work to the office. And the Governing Council of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has been reconstituted to pave way for resumption of academic work on Monday, November 19. The council's inauguration was preceded by the swearing-in of 6 new members, including 4 government appointees. And some residents in the West Mamprusi municipality of the Northern region Tuesday hit the streets of Walewale to canvass for massive turnout and a yes vote in the December 27 referendum towards the proposed Northeast region. 6 districts from the current Northern region forms the proposed Northeast region with about 200,000 registered voters. The Minister for Special Development Initiative, Mavis Hawa-Kumsin, has disclosed work is ongoing on some 570 small dams and dugouts in each of the constituencies in the 3 regions of the north. According to her, the project, which is in fulfillment of government's promise, should be about 85% complete by end of 2018. The Internal Audit Agency wants the Finance Minister to stop releasing budgetary allocations to ministries and departments implicated in the 2016-2017 Auditor General's report. The agency says it will petition to stop the disbursements within the next 6 months, as management of the various ministries which were cited in the report have refused to respond to queries given to them. Those are our major news highlights. Remember, you can follow us live on Facebook and on 3news.com. I'm also live on 3FM 92.7. Let's start with our very first story tonight. Ghana and Qatar have signed 7 agreements aimed at deepening bilateral ties between the 2 countries. The signing of the agreements was witnessed by President Akufo-Addo and the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani.
President Akufo-Addo's visit was also to explore other areas of cooperation for the mutual benefit of Ghana and Qatar. Accompanying the president were the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Shelia Yokoboche, and officials of the Presidency and Foreign Ministry. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shelia Yokoboche, signed on behalf of Ghana, whilst Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Qatar, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdurrahman Al Thani, signed on behalf of Qatar. The agreement signed included avoidance of double taxation and prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to taxes on income. A memorandum of understanding on conducting bilateral consultation with the State of Qatar was also signed. The other agreements include the exemption of visa requirement for holders of diplomatic and special passports, agreement on the regulation of manpower employment, letter of intent on security cooperation, and MOU on mutual recognition of marine competency certificate for seafarer workers at sea. President of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Nana Dr. P.J. Danko-Oso I, also signed an MOU, an agreement on the establishment of Joint Business Council on behalf of Government of Ghana, whilst Chairman of the Qatar Chamber of Commerce, Sheikh Khalifa bin Jassim bin Mohammed Al Thani, initialed for Qatar.
Now, on Thursday, November 15, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will present to Parliament a budget statement reflecting what Ghanaians should expect in 2019. In the following report, we assess the impact of the various interventions introduced between last year and this year.
Government has indicated the 2019 budget to be delivered by the Minister of Finance will bring more relief, hope and improvement to Ghanaians. It is the first post-IMF budget as the country readies to exit the extended credit facility Ghana accessed in 2015. This budget comes on the back of the mid-year budget presented in July this year, which was themed from stabilization to growth, putting Ghana back to work again. The mid-year review was anchored on the medium-term development program aimed at providing opportunities for growth and job creation. In 2017, the budget, which was on the theme sowing the seeds for growth and jobs, saw government introducing projects such as planting for food and jobs, among other interventions. But how have these interventions impacted their targets?
If you look at the data figures that we put out almost on a monthly basis, you realize that for the first, second, and then third quarter of the year, the prices of commodities has been increasing gradually throughout the year, especially for some of the most consumed commodities that we have in the country.
According to Isoko, the situation can be attributed to high cost of production.
Because the inputs, the same volumes, the same amount of inputs that people were buying and then using, the cost has gone up. The cost of labor has gone up. And so the factors of production are also rising.
But traders at the Malamata market here in Accra think otherwise.
The
laborers and other costs make it expensive. No one is buying. I'm not sure why.
The skyrocketing price of goods they contain makes it difficult to plan.
This year, in fact, Fanny said, "Oh, could dream now 100 cities so the dream."
Price of goods are really high, unbelievably high.
Price of fuel between 2017 and 2018 has also seen a consistent rise.
What you have in Ghana presently is a situation where the cedi, together with international market prices, are dragging all of us into dry pockets.
The PRC on March 15 this year published a general reduction in electricity tariffs. Residential customers per the new tariff cuts enjoyed a 17.5% reduction, while non-residential customers saw tariffs cut by 30%. Those in the mining sector have also been given a 10% tariff cut and 25% cuts for special load tariff customers. However, businesses are still uncomfortable with the high cost of doing business.
When governments push all the taxes onto fuel, the effect on the economy is dire, is bad. Jobs cannot expand. People cannot invest in new businesses. New things cannot happen here simply because people are now having to spend almost all the capital accumulated on fuel.
The 2018 budget statement was premised on consolidating the gains made during the 2017 in stabilizing the Ghanaian economy and increasing individual participation in the economy by putting Ghana back to work. Etonamse, TV3.
And though President Akufo-Addo and former President John Dramani Mahama were leaders in Ghana's parliament, the media had limited information on their performance as members when they both competed for the presidency. This is due to a lack of arrangements within the parliamentary system to make this information available for future use. To overcome this, the Speaker of Parliament is spearheading a move to have electronic systems that will eventually name and shame.
Mr. Speaker, are you going to name and shame MPs who are virtually, late?
Definitely. This, it will be available to members of the media. So when you come, and in fact, I'm seeking your cooperation. His Excellency Akufo-Addo, His Excellency Mahama, had both been leading members in this house before they sought to be president. Now, these men were competing to be president, yet the media did not have enough record, actual record, of their performance in Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, talking about MPs who do not show up, I know, for instance, that, following that research, a group, Economic Fighters, petitioned you on the 13th of August to refer the matter to the Privileges Committee and then declare the seats of the MPs vacant if they have no tangible reasons. Has that been done?
No. You see?
Why?
Yes. One, unfortunately, our rules provide, and in fact our law provides, that the MP must have absented himself or herself without permission for a certain number of consecutive days. I'm saying, how do you cure a mischief? You cure them with scientific arrangements.
And private legal practitioner Akoto Ampao is warning recruiting people without integrity to the office of the special prosecutor could prematurely collapse it. He said the public misconception about the special prosecutor's office and the work it does is largely due to the failure of government to communicate the work of the office. Akoto Ampao has been interacting with TV3.
Lawyer Akoto Ampao's name came up strongly as one of the few who were being considered for the post of the special prosecutor in the lead-up to the president's announcement. The private legal practitioner says misconceptions about the office of the special prosecutor is largely due to government's failure to communicate work done so far. He said the special prosecutor will need at least a year and a half to be more effective.
In my view, at least a year and a half or even more to set up an effective office of a public prosecutor. That is, if we are really serious in having an effective office that actually is capable of investigating, identifying those who have stolen public funds and prosecuting them.
He said the media should be interested in finding out what the allocations are to the setting up of the Special Prosecutor's Office in the 2019 budget. Lawyer Ampao was quick to defend the Special Prosecutor Martin Amido about his failure to prosecute anybody yet. He said the successes chalked by him whilst pursuing civil cases is quite different from the current criminal cases before him.
Criminal prosecution is a completely different ballgame. You need to do proper investigation, and that he cannot do it. He's not a trained investigator. You need people who have the requisite training to do investigation, provide the evidence for him to assess, and then determine which of the cases to prosecute.
Akoto Ampao wants civil society to put a lot more pressure on government to address challenges facing the special prosecutor.
Ghanaian civil society and all nationals who see that corruption is doing us massive damage ought to begin to speak out and put the necessary pressure on government, especially the finance ministry, to provide sufficient funding for the office to be set up. There are institutions, there are people in the public services, there are people in business community who do not want change in Ghana.
The special prosecutor Martin Amido, in his latest write-up, bemoaned the lack of resources and support, likening his situation to the work of Robert Mueller of the US-Russia investigations.
This is still News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Adesawe, Kanda in Accra. You can also hear me on 3FM 92.7. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, the Minister for Special Development Initiative, Mavis Howard-Kumsin, has disclosed that work is ongoing on some 570 small dams and dugouts in each of the constituencies in the 3 regions of the north. According to her, the project, in fulfillment of government's promise, should be at least 85% complete by the end of 2018.
The Ministry for Special Development Initiative took its turn at the Meet the Press series at the Information Ministry in Accra. In all, projects being undertaken by the ministry across the country are 1,000 community-based water system, 1,010-seater water closet institutional facility, 50 warehouses with capacity of 1,000 metric tons, 570 small dams, and a total of 275 ambulances, one for each constituency. According to the Minister, Mavis Howard-Kumson, the dams cost between 200,000 and 250,000 cedis, depending on the location.
The target is to provide all year-round availability of water for smallholder farming, livestock watering. All the 3 northern regions, this work is ongoing. They are not yet completed. It's about 80-85 completion as we speak. And we hope by close of the year or early next year, it will all be completed.
The dams and dugout has features including a land area ranging between 2 and 3 hectares, an earth embankment wall with a maximum height of 5 meters. The maximum depth of the water is 5 meters, that is 2.5 meters below and 2.5 meters above ground level. The consultant in charge of the construction of the dams, William Ukpata, explains further.
The water contained in each dam on average is about 120,000 cubic meters, which is about 27 million gallons. And we expect this water to be used by about 1,000 people and about 500 cattle between the months of November to May. After May, we expect rains to come.
On the 1 ambulance per 1 constituency, Howard-Kumson blamed procurement processes for the delay. She, however, assured the ambulances will be supplied by June 2019.
It was our intention to even have the ambulance by close of year. But looking at the procurement process, I believe maybe by first week in December, the award will be given. And then somewhere May, June next year, the ambulances will be in this country. And that is the assurance I'm giving you.
The 275 constituencies, however, did not benefit from the 1 million per constituency in 2017. Mavis Howard-Kumson explains why.
Our funds are not statutory. So when the budget expires, it expires with the money. I mean with the 1 million per the constituency. When there are projects, ongoing projects, the money will be refinanced to pay the contractors. But if it is not used in anything, the finance minister cannot release that money. Even Parliament will not allow it.
The Ministry for Special Development Initiatives was established 2 years ago to accelerate the development of government priority areas through the implementation of the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program (IPEP). This is expected to contribute to the attainment of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goals 1, 2, 6, 9 and 10.
And Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana have vowed to enforce their intended strike next week if government fails to meet their expectations. By Wednesday, November 14, government through the Ministry of Health has scheduled a meeting with the leadership of the mortuary workers to find a lasting solution to their concerns. Here's a report by my colleague Sarah Parko.
This is the Panta Mortuary on Tuesday. The over 5-decade-old facility cannot boast of a decent waiting area. Aside its deteriorating state, it looks abandoned with little maintenance work done. Madame Rose Mauli is a client waiting to access the service of the morgue. She is here to see the body of her late daughter, whose body is being preserved at the Panta Mortuary.
I wouldn't be happy if there's nobody here. I will make any effort to enter to take my body, because if there is nobody here, I can't leave my daughter here and go away. I don't like here. The condition of the place is not wealthy. And the first time I come here, I saw many things here what is not right.
This is what is likely to happen if government fails to meet the demands of these workers. The meeting between the leadership of the mortuary workers and government is expected to avert the intended strike, which will end up inconveniencing many Ghanaians. Mortuary workers in the country are set to embark on a strike next week Tuesday over what they describe as poor working conditions. The workers say the decision comes on the back of neglect by the Ministry of Health over their concerns. Government has scheduled a meeting with them on Wednesday. But ahead of the meeting, General Secretary of the Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana, Richard Kofi Jordan, is warning government to come prepared.
We hope that tomorrow's meeting will bring some profound results as it is in our release. We have seen death in different magnitudes, We are not joking.
Did you take the public into consideration when you were taking this decision?
I think we are not decision makers. We have decision makers, people we have charged with governance. They are in charge of decision making. They should be thinking about the public, not me, the ordinary worker who is stampeded. My right is stampeded all over the country. No.
And winner of the maiden edition of the presidential pitch competition, Vanessa Aisha Liman, has urged startups and young entrepreneurs to take advantage of programs and platforms that offer information on access to funding opportunities. She says most startups lack information on funding sources, thereby making it difficult for them to raise the right funding for their businesses.
Most startups in Ghana complain of lack of access to cheaper credit. Unlike other countries where there are systems to support young entrepreneurs, such as cheaper loans, angel investors, government support, among others, the interest rate of financial institutions in the country remains high. Speaking ahead of the Media General Startup Fair and Funding Summit, winner of the maiden presidential pitch, Vanessa Aisha Liman, says there are avenues for funding, but startups lack information on them.
I think most people don't know about that. That is why they think there are no avenues or there's no funding for entrepreneurs. Most people don't know much about it. They don't read more about it. But I think they are trying their best.
About 50 startups are expected to patronize the two-day fair, which will have participants exhibit their products and services. There will also be free health screening for members of the general public. The event is open to the general public to come and enjoy the massive discount offered by exhibitors at the Aviation Social Center on the 16th and 17th of November.
Right, so I'm told that the Ghana Black Princesses also have scored Uruguay, their counterparts, 2-0. The match is still ongoing. That's where we wrap up with News at 10. Thank you extremely for making time. On behalf of the crew, good night. There is more news at 3news.com.